Hello, my friends. Welcome to the live stream. It's so good to have you all here. It's nice to be back. Happy Pride to all you L's and G's and B's and T's and all you Q's and all you pluses too. You know, I'm many of those things myself, so I get it. If it's your very first time watching one of these live streams, then hey, double special welcome to you. Let me introduce to you the way that we do things around here. So first of all, if anybody super chats me during the course of the stream, I always do my best to shout those out. Probably best to keep the questions like short and brief because the chat tends to scroll by pretty fast. We'll be talking a little bit about how I made the previous episode of the show, what the feedback was. We'll also be answering the big question that a lot of people had, which was, how did we film this scene with my younger self? More on the movie magic of that later. Somebody says, is that a lesbian manicure? Yes, it is. So you might have seen on social media, I had a little event the other night, which I'll say more about in a future stream. But I had a little movie premiere in London that was pretty exciting, and I decided to get my nails done especially for the premiere. And since the creator of the show that was premiering is a lesbian and was there with her wife, I decided to do a little bit of a rep on the red carpet. This weekend coming up, I'm going to LA for 3 weeks to do a movie, and then I'll be back, and then I'll do a live stream and we'll talk all about things that happened in a galaxy far, far away. But in the meantime, let's talk about the previous episode that I made, which was called I Read the Most Misunderstood Philosopher in the World, and it was about Judith Butler. It was this one with this mysterious bit of time travel stuff that we did. So, long-time viewers of the analysis streams will know that I have 3 criteria that I judge my videos by. And if the video meets those 3 criteria, then even if it like bombs or does really, really well or whatever it is, then I know I'm happy with it. So the first of the 3 criteria is, was it made from curiosity, not ambition? And this time I have to say, yes, I think it definitely was. I got sent a copy of Judith Butler's new book, Who's Afraid of Gender, which we'll talk more about later on in the section of the stream where I tell you about all the things that I've been reading lately. But I got sent a copy of that, and that got me onto this concept of phantasms, and I was really interested in basically understanding as much of Butler as I could. So, yes, definitely curiosity and ambition. Yes, cool. The second of my 2 criteria is it my unique creative vision? In which case, yes, I think the answer is on the screen. Truly, who else be doing it how Tube be doing it? Who else does time travel stuff like this in video essays? And also, like, who else has, like, narrative scenes that play out and tie into the themes of the video? Not many people. I think this is definitely my unique creative vision. And indeed, when I talk about the aesthetics section of the stream where I tell you how I design stuff, then yes, even more so than usual, it's my unique creative vision. So big check there. And finally, my final criteria is, was it made out of compassion for myself and others? I'm going to give myself a big check here as well. I'm going to say, yes, it was, because it would have been very easy for this particular topic and this particular format to become not compassionate to myself. Like, I could have really gotten dark and like really flagellated myself here. And like, we know we got into a serious place, but I usually have a rule for when I do serious personal art stuff like this, which is that I don't make art about feelings that I haven't processed. And I stuck to that rule this time. So whilst there is some tears and there's some drama in the scenes, like, this is all the stuff that I'm like very happy with. People in the comments saying, oh, was it really difficult for you to do the scene? Not really, actually. This is all stuff that I like have processed a while back, and then like you process it and then I turn it into art. So yeah, I'm gonna give myself a big tick, tick, tick. Like, I was really pleased with this video and really happy with the way that it went. Now I'd like to tell you a little bit about how I researched it, because I know that you all love it when I tell you about books. So we've got 2 book sections in this live stream. First, I'll tell you about the books I read for this video. Later on, I'll tell you about the books that I'm reading now at the moment, right? So basically, I started off with Judith Butler's new book, Who's Afraid of Gender, which the publishers sent me an advanced copy of at the end of last year. I kind of just wanted to read as much Butler as I could, because I hadn't read much of their work before, but I knew that it was in some circles controversial, and perhaps, you know, I'd learned about the degree of the backlash from the new book too. So I knew that at some point I would have to tackle Gender Trouble. I'll put it on this side, Gender Trouble, which is arguably their most famous book. But I also knew that it was going to be tough. So I had this idea that first I would read the philosophical papers and articles that they wrote before that, which is why I read Gender Insubordination. In the video I said subordination. That was an error. It's Gender Insubordination is the title of the paper. And there's another paper that they wrote as well, 1989, Performative Acts and Gender Constitution. I decided to read those first as a kind of like intro to Butler's thought to set the groundwork. But in general, I found it to be like, you know, pretty fine. I got a lot out of it. It was pretty good, and like, I didn't think it was as super tough as a lot of people say. Kaylin Ann says, do you have all your video reference book listed somewhere? Yeah, they're always in the description. So yeah, then I moved on to some of Butler's more recent work. So I checked out Precarious Life, on this side, Precarious Life, which takes a more explicitly political turn, in particular when they write about 9/11. And I found that to be really, really fascinating, and definitely provided good material for the turning point in the video. I like my videos to have like a turn where it's like, and now we're talking about this. Chaya Iran says, I appreciated the bit about how transphobia and anti-Semitism fill the same role. As a trans Jew, it really resonated with my experience. Yeah, so that came from this, Anti-Gender Politics in the Populist Moment, by these two Polish scholars whose names I tried very hard to pronounce correctly, and some Polish people in my comments said I probably didn't. So Butler cites this in this. So what I like to do when I read a book is then I flip to the back and I look at the other works that the author has cited, and then I go, okay, what looks cool? What can I dive into here? And that's how I found this one. This I found to be really, really valuable. Actually, this is one of the best books I've read recently. Some of the like really, really nice details in here, in particular about like the history of Catholic Church's involvement in the anti-gender movement. And that was really, really cool. That's what led me to discovering all those articles I read and cited in the show about Piotr Skaga, which, by the way, if you haven't read those 3 articles that I cited, whoo, those are good. Those are really, really good. Highly recommend checking it out. And now we do a section of the post-show analysis that I like to call Transphobia Watch. Good evening. Welcome to Transphobia Watch. Tonight, good night. It took a lot of interesting forms. There were some people who basically just went, nuh-uh, and like didn't really engage with what Butler said. They just kind of like restated the anti-Butler position. There were a lot of people who just like restated the sex-gender distinction, which is what Butler's arguing against, and basically just went no and just like said it again but more aggressive. And it's like, in a philosophy class, that wouldn't, I mean, you'd fail for that because you haven't engaged with the text, right? Alex Coates, thanks for that super chat. Do you have a favorite part of the process for creating philosophy tube videos? I like being on set on the day, just because the crew is always just really nice, and we always have like a nice chill environment usually. So that's just really nice, and then it feels like it's real, you know. I tell you what though, let's talk about how we actually did the time travel scene. How did we do this? Was it CGI? Was it AI? Did I record it years ago and then, just edit it all together? No, in fact, it is a much more low-tech answer. It's just a guy. This person that you're looking at here is not me. This is a separate human being, a professional actor named Reese Tees. He's been a friend of mine for years. He also played me in Identity, which some people at the back at the time didn't realize. And so this is Reese. That's how we filmed it. It's just a guy. Alcy says, did people think it was the real past you? Yeah. Some people thought that when we filmed Identity too. They thought Reese was me. The trick is in the eyes. We have different colored eyes. Even though I said in the script we have the same eyes, we actually don't. We also have different accents too, but maybe you have to be from the UK to pick up on that. So this scene, we deliberately framed this shot to make you think that we're the same person. And then at the end, the idea is that we hug we hug. Thoughtful Electronic Music by Nina Richards. And that's the moment you're supposed to go, what? How did they film that? Was it just CGI? Like, wait, how did you touch each other when it's like it's a split screen? How did you do that, right? So we lied. We tricked you. Ha ha ha! We got you. Did you direct Reese's body language as past you? Yes, Katie North Hacker, I did. All part of the direction. Oh, by the way, if you want to see the full scene without the video essay bits in between, it's on Nebula. It's a little bonus video on my Nebula channel, just for you Nebula heads. Oh yeah, this was a great comment from Quasimudu8452, who said all the stuff about objectification that we talked about in the context of queer people also applies to Indigenous Americans and disabled people too. Yes, absolutely. I'm really glad you made that connection. That theory of objectification that we explained, of course, has wider applications beyond just the people we talked about in the video. And I'm like, A+, A*, top marks. You're engaging with the text and applying it to other things too. That's like original material and engagement with the text, like top marks. Let's talk about some... Oh, first of all, let's look at the fan art. So this bit of fan art comes to us from Waluigi Fuck, one of our regular fan artists. Amazing job as always. I love it's almost like a playing card, that design. It's really fun. I like it. This one is from Tomorrow is Today over on Reddit. I like this one, kind of abstract. Kind of like... Ooh, like difficult to see. The hair almost looks like tentacles. Like you've got a really interesting style, the way that you've got like the white lines around only some of it. It suggests almost like it's still being drawn, which I kind of like in this context. When I say unfinished, I don't mean like you need to go back and finish it. I mean that it suggests something to me that is in progress, transient. And then this last one also comes from Waluigi Fuck, which is me and Reese in the Madeline prism. This is really cool. Like the light coming off the prism around the edges of the pyramid is really, really powerful. Now the bit of the stream I know you all been waiting for. What have I been reading lately? Books! More books! So I have been on a queer fiction kick recently. Just, for fun, because I've had a lot of plane journeys in the last few months, so I've been reading a lot of stuff on planes. As I mentioned in the video, I've been reading Alison Rumford's Brainwyrms, which is good, extremely disturbing and gross, so you'll need a strong stomach to read this one. So this was Alison's second novel. Once I was done with it, I read her first novel, Tell Me I'm Worthless, which is about a haunted house, and I won't spoil anything else, but again, similarly kind of gross and horrible, but well written. And then I read this, Wrath Goddess Sing by Maya Dean. So Maya became a friend of mine. She's a writer in New York. And I can't remember how, so I'd heard of this book. And then somebody explained to me what the deal with it is. I was like, okay, I have to read that. And I read it and I was absolutely gripped, and I love it. I was like, wouldn't shut up about it for weeks after I finished it. How to even begin? So it's a retelling of the Iliad, where Achilles is a trans woman, and basically it's a retelling of the Iliad that focuses on the women generally, including Helen, who is the villain of the Trojan War, and like a number of others too. It rules, and the ending is just like mind blowing. The way that it like changes genres as it goes through the book is phenomenal. Then I read this, Manhunt by Gretchen Felker-Martin. A book that drew some controversy when it came out. It's a story about a pandemic that turns anyone who has a certain amount of testosterone in their bodies into a zombie, like feral and like very graphic, not just eating people, but other things too. Just at first blush, it sounds like a very sort of War of the Sexes type deal. But actually, the more you go through, the more clever it becomes, and the more I kind of like it. So basically, the book takes seriously the radical feminist position that all sex/gender is founded in violence. that to have any kind of sex/gender at all is to have some kind of violence done to you or to be doing some kind of violence to yourself. It's definitely provocative in a way that I really appreciated. What else? Oh yeah, The Acolyte. Star Wars The Acolyte comes out on Tuesday. I'm in it. I think they're releasing the episodes like 2 and then 1 a week. So you won't see me in the first 2, but then you might see me after that. If you got, keep your eyes peeled, I have a little role in it. In the meantime, sleep tight. Have fun. Be cool. Oh, I'm sleepy now. I think I'm going to get myself a nice cup of bedtime tea.